Hey YouTube, it's Cutt here, and we're bringing you another one. And we're going to do a movie review of Oppenheimer. Before we get into all that, now, for those who know, come on over to my Patreon. Because if you join my Patreon and you do the official Patreon, which is the smallest, cheapest tier, you're able to join, okay, and be a part of the early access tutorials, okay, of drawing eyes, drawing, this and that, all different types of tutorials that I'm working on. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, okay? If you do the all access Patreon, which is in the middle, then you get the free monthly wallpapers every month based upon whatever art I pick, and we do it for desktop, computers, and phones. You get 3 designs each, okay? The one that's for this month is Dexter, okay? And then, all right, if you do the VIP, you get the vectors. You either get digital packs of vectors, brushes, 3D models, all different type of digital packs once a month, and then you also get free ones automatically just for joining. So I'm excited for you to come and be a part of the Patreon. So click the link down below. Do not worry, this is a non-spoiler review. Although this is based on history, so if you know history, you're already spoiled. If you don't know history, I will not spoil it for you. So don't worry too much about that. If you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button, because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. Okay, that was pretty smooth. Okay, all right. So we did the intro. So let's get on to the rating. So my rating is 11 out of 10. A masterpiece. A masterpiece. Okay. This movie is going to win a lot of awards. It's a masterpiece of a film. All right. So 11 out of 10 is my rating. Let me get my images down. All right. Now, should you see this? Oh, no. What's the vibes? What's the vibes? So it's giving me a little bit of Hidden Figures. A little bit of Hidden Figures, really mathy. Well, it's more sciencey. Really mathy. A lot of words that, are coming past to explain what's going on. Very fast speaking, very fast thinking, very much Hidden Figures. Hacksaw Ridge, well, first of all, he's literally in the movie. I mean, he has like a small part, but he's in the movie. But it has that like war vibes, same cinematic look. And then it's giving me a little bit of Frankenstein. Not necessarily the look, but, the monster is Frankenstein the monster, or is Frankenstein the scientist? You know what I mean? It's that type of ordeal. Okay? Should you see this in the theaters? Absolutely. Absolutely, if you got 3 hours to spare. If you have 3 hours to spare, go see it in the movie. If you need to watch it over a few days, because 3 hours is a long time, just go on here and wait for the digital. Okay? Yes, it is very much a cinematic movie, big screen type of film. So yes, definitely go ahead and see that in the theaters. So it's directed by Christopher Nolan. You already know who this is, and if you don't know the name, you know his movies because he made, excuse me, let me come down here. He was the director of Interstellar, which was phenomenal. Tenet, which I didn't see, but now I want to see because I know how phenomenal the other movies are. Inception and Dark Knight, which I didn't realize he did Dark Knight. But it makes sense because Dark Knight is one of the best DC movies they got out there, more recent ones. Well, I guess it's mid-recent. So it all makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about the cast, okay? Now, you know how you want names, and there's a lot of peeps on here. Hold on, I got buttons coming out and all different type of things going. Let me put this thing on airplane mode. Or do not disturb. So the names I want to mention, first of all, is Oppenheimer, played by, what's his name? Cillian Murphy. Phenomenal job. And I didn't realize he looks very much like the real Oppenheimer. They really casted him very well. And then Louis Strauss, played by Robert Downey Jr. Now, sometimes I was like, is that Iron Man? I mean, I knew it was Iron Man, but I mean, I know it. See, that's the point. There was times where I'm like, is this Iron Man? Is this Tony Stark or no? But that didn't happen a lot. It didn't happen to the point where it was like, I'm out of the movie. This is basically Avengers. It wasn't like that. It just moments of, wow, that's Iron Man. But I think he did so well to pull away. Some people didn't agree on that, but in my opinion, He definitely did. Okay, and then Kitty Oppenheimer, which is Oppenheimer's wife, played by Emily Blunt. I've always loved her. I don't know if she gets the credit she deserves for being a phenomenal actress. Or I don't know if they still do it that way, but she's phenomenal. Okay, Albert Einstein. I'm gonna do a shout out of Albert Einstein because it was just really like fun to see Albert Einstein, played by Tom Cotney, and it was just kind of like, that's Albert Einstein. That's really cool. And just the way he was very much like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. He was very much like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. And I really like that. And this, I'm talking about in history, like from the way they depicted it in the movie, Albert Einstein was like, I'm not involved in this. I'm trying to involve me. I ain't involved. And then another shout out who I don't even know where he was in the movie, is Harry S. The character is Harry S. Truman, played by Gary Oldman, which is Sirius Black of Harry Potter, which I didn't realize he's in so many movies. So he's in this movie, but I don't know where he is. So I don't know how good he did, but he's phenomenal. So he probably did phenomenally. Okay. The villain, I mean, it's World War II. Hitler, Russia, Japan, all the villains. There's another villain, but I don't want to mention. More like, I don't know, because I like to pick what type of villain they are. So those are more like the personification of evil. It's the thing that's kind of sitting in the back of everybody's mind throughout the whole movie. But then there's another villain that I don't want to mention because it'll spoil. And then there's another villain, which is the actual atomic bomb. It was hard to pick what type of villain that one is, but I had to pick like supernatural because it's beyond like comprehension. So that one was a little complicated, but those are the villains. There's a lot of villains in this film. Okay. And then the message, this one was hard for me. So I just this one worked for me, which was, I think that was the atomic bomb image. Here we go. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. Which is the exact opposite of it's not a party until something gets spilled, because that is like, oh yeah, spilled, that means we're having a party. This is like, it was all chill until it was like, whoa, wait a minute. And without giving the story too much, but it is also in history. Basically, Oppenheimer was just doing his whole science situation. He wasn't even getting into all that, but then realized, oh, what we're doing is actually making a bomb. And then he realized, oh wait, Russia is figuring the same thing out too. Oh, no. They cannot make a bomb, because if they make an atomic bomb, it's over. If we make an atomic bomb, it could still be over, but we might have a little bit more control. So that's kind of like the whole core of the whole movie. So it was just kind of chilling. It was all fun and games. We just scientists doing science thing until it was like, oh, wait a minute. It's about to be a whole situation. So there's other messages too, but that's a good one. Okay. I have a new section called what could be better, or what could be better. Because I feel like nothing's perfect. So you got to see the bad. And even though I called this 11 out of 10, I would say the only two things that, and this is not what made it, well, it's not a bad rating. So it's hard to say that these are bad things, but things that I can see people having their trouble with, it's too smart. So there were moments where I was like, huh? Or, okay, what's that mean? Or like, okay, they said this, but I don't know what that word means, or I'm not sure what that scientific thing means. And then they said this, is that going to get, so maybe it's a little too smart, but I kind of like that because it forced you to think harder. So it's hard to say that's a negative. The other negative is it's 3 hours. So although it's a phenomenal 3 hours, do you have 3 hours of your life? So keep that in mind. So that's what I would say could be better. But other than that, I think everything else was phenomenal. Absolutely. Okay, let's talk cinematography. I mean, is it a question? Is it a question? I was hating on Astral City, which I am going to give another chance once it hits streaming, because I felt the story was so confusing, yet the cinematography was out of this world. And I made the point that you got to have cinematography, but you also have to have a good story. This has both. It's a phenomenal story. They explained it very well. The way, I didn't know what direction this movie was going. It did a really good job depicting the story, but also the cinematography was very nicely done. Very nicely done. Okay. Animation / CGI. From what I heard, there wasn't really any like CGI. They wanted to do real explosions, real things. So I don't remember seeing anything that looked CGI. There are some like cool graphics of like atoms splitting and things like that, but I can't tell if that was animation type of things or if that was like practical things in front of a black screen. It was really hard to tell. From what I know, there is no animation CGI, but nowadays there's always even a little bit, so it's hard to tell sometimes. Okay. All right, so let's get into character design. I don't usually call it character design when we're talking about live action film. Character design is more so for animation. But because they're playing actual real life people, they're playing actual characters of these people, I thought character design was important. And Albert Einstein, I think they did a good job. I've seen better in other films, but it was good to see Albert Einstein. I think Oppenheimer looked... I mean, they couldn't have cast a better Oppenheimer, but the only other issue was I didn't know many of those other people to compare them. So I don't know. But out of those two, I think they did a phenomenal job. Okay. Oh, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then let's talk about the music, the score, the soundtrack. It's really good. It's very... It knows exactly when to be calm. It knows when it's amping up. Because it's very much a roller coaster. It starts a little slow, but it really picks up. It has slow moments again. Picks up, has slow moments again. Pick up. It's very much like that, and the music fits that very nicely. And that's one of the things I really like. But that also goes down to sound design. There's a few moments where. So just a teeny bit without giving it away, Oppenheimer gets a little traumatized by his creation. Like, it's really Frankenstein because he didn't know it was gonna do all that. Yeah, like he knew he was making a bomb. He knew what it was going to do, but he didn't really realize the impact that this bomb would do on history, on Japan, on the people. Like, he just didn't grasp all that. So after it happened, although America was clapping, he was like traumatized. So that was my favorite moments because you felt traumatized with him. You felt the same thing. It was because of the sound design. I'm here to tell you about that one. That was really, 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 really good. Okay. So let's move on over to world design. So it takes place in the 40s. Yeah, there was a lot of old school stuff. You know, anytime there's a time period film, I'm always looking like, what's the cars looking like? What's the lamps looking like? I'm always looking at the lamps. I don't know why. Lamps have changed so much. Always looking at the lamps, always looking at computers and technology. So, I mean, but it was mostly on a military base, about 35% of the movie. And then in science labs, which have changed, but there's a lot of things that are still similar. So, it did good, but I think it was more about the acting and more about the temperature of the film than it was the props and all the things around it in the world. Okay. Okay. Costume design, same thing. Nothing too serious. This is a lot of suits. People wearing old school suits, old school women's clothing. Like the women wearing the jackets with the skirts. It's basically like a woman's suit. It's a lot of that going on. Some science jackets. Nothing really crazy when it comes to costume design. They're probably not going to win the award on that end. Is there any type of end credit scene? No end credit scene or anything like that. Will there be a second movie? I don't think they'll do a second movie about Oppenheimer. Maybe they'll do a spinoff on another character that's important in history, or I would like to get a really good Albert Einstein movie. That would be great, but nothing too serious. Conclusion. Go see it if you can see it in the theater. So far, this might be the best movie of the year. I did see this. After this, you're gonna see Barbie. I did see Barbie, so you're gonna see the Barbie review. And I'm a little late, but I'm doing a halfway, not top 10, but I'm numbering the order of the best movies this half of the year. I see a lot of YouTubers do that. I'm like, that's a really cool idea. So the first half of the year, these are all the movies I saw in the theaters only. And then I'm going to rank them. Then I'm going to do second half of the year at the end of the year. And then I'm going to do top 10 of the whole year. So, but those two will happen obviously at the end of the year once all these movies come out. This movie is in the second quarter, so it won't be in the ranking. But so far, this is getting the awards. But there's some movies coming out, so we don't know who could take it. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, don't worry. We got a lot of stuff coming. If you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. Let me switch into my pink shirt for Barbie. What are you doing? I know you're not about to leave. It's mad buttons down there. You ain't pushed on one of them. You better subscribe to my channel. See you soon.